here today to do my July reading wrap up. I actually had a really good reading month for the month of July. I wound up reading 13 books and I finished listening to one. So that is what I'm going to chat about. The first book that I finished reading was The High Society by Ali Carter. This is the first book in a 3-book series, and I got this book from my friend for my birthday last year, I think, from Tiffany. If you're watching this, Tiffany, I finally got around to reading it, and I really enjoyed it. I gave this book 4 stars. It was a really impressive start to a series. It's very, very mystery focused. It follows this girl named Catherine, whose whole family is a bunch of thieves, and she makes a conscious choice at the start of the novel that she does not want to be a thief anymore, and starts going to this private school. But some unexpected elements happen. She winds up sucked back into the life, and she winds up solving a mystery with her friends. And it's just a really, really fun novel, but I really loved it, and I'm so excited to start book 2, The Uncommon Criminals, in August. And I'll talk about that in my August TBR. The next book I read was part of the Spring Flings books challenge that I'm doing, and the book is Words in Deep Blue. This book didn't really fit into any categories, but I would probably consider it OTP, One True Pairing, because there is definitely a very obvious OTP in the story, and I did do a mashup review about this in my contemporary book, so go check that out. But overall, I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. If you're a reader and you love really unique bookstores and kind of a blast from the pants romance story, I highly recommend you read it. You can also go check out my review that I did about it on my blog, or the longer review that I did in that video. But overall, I really enjoyed it. It was really, really cute, and I love the main characters in this story, and I thought that it dealt with the handling of grief in a really effective way, and it was a little bit heartbreaking, but it used letters and books as a very, very interesting story device, and I really liked it. I also said in my previous video when I did my wrap up that I was on a really, really big Buffy kick, and that continued. I'm in the middle of watching season 6 of Buffy, and that's like my favorite season. I got a lot of books this month for Buffy, and they will be read corresponding to the seasons once I get there. But I decided to read the Book of Four by by Nancy Holder. This is a companion novel that takes place in season 3, but it's very, very female focused. It focuses on Buffy, Faith, Willow, Cordelia, and 2 Slayers that have long since passed. But I really liked it. I thought it was really, really well done. I do agree that if you want to read this, I highly recommend you read the Ghost Road series, because it will make the series make a little bit more sense. But overall, I really, really liked it, and highly recommend, if you like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you pick it up, because it was a really, really fun read. The next book I read was from Entangled Teen, and that was The Imperfectly Perfect Match by Kendra Haley. I did do a review on this, and it is in that contemporary mashup that for the month of July, so go check out those things. But overall, I really liked it. I gave this book 5 stars. I was really, really impressed with it. I love both main characters, and I love how they were both struggling to find their own way, but also struggling to find their way in the romance. And I thought that it dealt with a lot of like really hard hitting contemporary issues that you don't always see in novelizations. But overall, I just love their relationship, and I love that we got both characters' POVs, because I thought that it really, really balanced out the story, and I was really impressed with it. It just made the book a really, really fun read, and and I will admit it did make me cry towards the end, so it was a little bit of an emotional gut punch. But overall, it was just a really, really sweet novel, and I love when the guy is the straight-laced one and the girl is the one that kind of knocks them out of their holding pattern, because I just thought it was a really, really fun read. And I hope to read more by this author. This is actually the 3rd book in the series, and I have put them on my wish list for my birthday, so maybe someone gets them for me for my birthday. Hint, hint. Just kidding. But yeah, so it was overall a really, really fun read, and I gave that one 5 stars. The next book I read, I also got from BloggerCon. I don't have it anymore because I loaned it to I gave it to my friend Sarah, but that is Internet Famous by Danica. I also did talk about this in a wrap up with this and The Unlikelies that I read next. But I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. This would definitely fall into the Spring Fling Summer Challenge for online romance, because it follows this girl who has a very, very popular fandom site. And her identity winds up getting blown to shreds, and that kind of sends her world overturning. But in that process, she falls in love with one of her followers, and it's just a really, really fun story. I do admit that she is very, very hard to like at the start of the novel, but she does get a little bit better. I love the relationship she had with her sister Sarah a lot. I think that the elements of her sister struggling with autism really made the book much, much more powerful. But I love the fandom connections. They talked about Buffy for like a hot second, and I was like, oh my god, if they do a Buffy rewatch, I'm going to freak out. So you'll have to watch to see if they did do a Buffy rewatch in the book. But it was a really, really fun read. So go check out my review and my blog post if you want more information. And the next book that I read, I also gave to my friend Sarah to read because I loved it so much, and I gave it 5 stars. And this is The Unlikelies by Carrie Firestone. This one did fall into the Spring Fling Challenge of Friendship. I think I read some categories, 2 books per categories, and some I just didn't do any. This one I happened to do 2. Overall, I really, really enjoyed this book. I gave it 5 stars. It follows this character, Sadie, who winds up becoming like a hometown hero after she winds up saving a baby from a very, very traumatic circumstance. And she winds up being invited to this luncheon to share her story. And she winds up encountering these 5 people who wind up are also being home terrors, and they're all being honored. And they spend the summer just kind of bonding, and they go out to write to do good deeds for their neighborhood, and it turns into a summer of wild fun and experiments and friendship and a little bit of romance, and it was just a super, super fun read. I really, really enjoyed it. I loved the friendship bonding, and I loved all the characters' dynamics, and I just love them as characters, and I just enjoyed the story so much. So if you're looking for a really, really fun but a little bit heartfelt contemporary, I highly recommend it. Doesn't focus as much on the romance, but it was a super, super fun read, and I really, really enjoyed it. Carrie Firestone also wrote the Loose Ends list that I read in November, and I would say I definitely do like this book more than I did the Loose Ends list, but it was a really, really fun read, so I would highly recommend that you check it out. The next book I read is a highly anticipated book from many, many people. It definitely does fit into my summer fling challenge, which is LGBTQ romance, and it is They Both Die in the End by Adam Silvera. I was so excited to get this. I actually won it at his signing, so I didn't have to brave the crowds to get it at BookCon. But I really, really enjoyed this book. I gave this book 4.5 stars. It was so well done. So well done. I really enjoyed it. And I really want to read his other book, his History Is All You Left Me. Previously I did read More Happy Than Not, and it wasn't my favorite book I've ever read, but I really did enjoy this. And it follows these 2 guys that they live in a society where when you wake up in the morning, you will receive a phone call that tells you you're gonna die in the next 24 hours. And it kind of sets them off. They meet through an app called My Last Friend app, and they start a day of just learning and living and experiencing the life, and it's just a really, really fun novel. It focuses a lot on friendship. It has LGBTQ elements, but it is a really, really good but heartbreaking novel. Go into this and believe the title. They both die in the end. So go in emotionally prepared. I finished reading it on a train and I was near tears. That was how emotionally heartbreaking the book was. People have said that this book isn't as emotionally heartbreaking as his other ones. I think it's equally as emotionally heartbreaking. I will be posting my review, my non-spoiler review, on my blog, and a video wrap-up August 1st, so go check that out. I don't want to talk about it too much here, but overall, if you were looking for a book, definitely get this when it comes out in September because it was a really, really good read. And then the next book I actually started after I started reading Roar, but I actually finished this book first because I went to shopping with my friend Sarah. Sorry, you're getting so many shoutouts in this video. And we went to Book Off in New York City, and this was the book that was on the top of my pile when I was on the train. So I just started reading it, and it was super short, and it's Better Off Friends by Elizabeth Eulberg. This would also fit into the spring fling category of friendship. I would say that. You'll have to see if it goes beyond friendship. But it follows these 2 characters named Mac and Levi, and it's told through in a really unique format because half the book is told through in the past, like what's happening, how did they meet, and the other part of the story is a present, them having a conversation about themselves. It's written in a really, really cute way, but it takes place over 4 years of these two guys being friends and maybe leading to something more. Overall, I gave it 4 stars. It was such a cute novel, and as I said in my contemporary mashup, this book reminded me a lot of a relationship I had with someone in my life when I was in high school, and I just was a really, really fun read. So I highly recommend if you want a super cute contemporary, you check this out. It's Better Off Friends by Elizabeth Yulberg. Then I finally got to finish reading Roar by Cora Carmack. Can we just admire this cover? I did do a review about this novel, so go check that out. But overall, I gave it 5 stars. It was an amazing novel. I loved it. I loved the lead character. I love the elements of magic. I love the various perspectives that we got. It was not at all predictable, which I really, really enjoy, and I just cannot believe I have to wait a year for book 2. Cora Carmack, this is not okay. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I just thought that it really handled, I was really, really craving magic in my life, like magic novels in my life, and this book fit the bill perfectly, but it had such a strong character, and so many different unique elements happen. I just really, really enjoyed it. But go check out my review if you want more discussion about that, but overall it just really, really impressed me, and I was really, really pleased with it. So I'm very, very excited to read this more in the series, and maybe this year I'll branch out and read some of her new adult, because I know she has a lot of new adult series that I just haven't read yet. But overall, definitely go check out Roar by Cora Carmack, because it was a really, really fun fantasy read with a really, really kick-ass lead character who was taught to be kick-ass. I think that that was the thing I liked the most about this book, because Aurora did not start off this book being kick-ass and strong. She had to become that throughout the novel, and I was really, really impressed by that. And then I finally finished listening to City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare, which is the second to last book in the the Mortal Instruments series. Hopefully I'll get to start City of Heavenly Fire this month. But I will talk more about my listening stuff in my August TBR. And then I'm also doing a read along with a couple of friends of mine for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This is the new 20th anniversary edition. This is the Hufflepuff book because I'm a Hufflepuff. I love these books whenever I read them. I love chatting with the girls in the group, guys in the group that I'm on. But it was just a really, really fun read. It's like coming home. And this was the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter this month, and also a lot of anniversaries are in this month. Like Harry Potter's birthday's on Monday. But I just really, really loved it, and I gave it 5 stars, as always. The next book I read was probably like my biggest disappointment for the month, and was We Know It Was You by Maggie Thrash. I did do a review on my blog, and I did do a video review. I just wasn't impressed with it. I think I really had a hard time with the sexual content in this novel and the focus on it. But again, the mystery was compelling. Didn't go where I thought it was to go, and I wasn't as fond of the lead characters. Just wasn't my favorite book, and that's okay. You can't love everything that you read, but I did look it up, and there is a second book coming out in October that will be the second book in the Strange Truth series. Definitely will check it out. I'll probably rent it from the library just because I wasn't a big fan of the first one, but maybe with a different case I will like the book a little bit better, but I'll be curious to see if the sexual content stays in the book, and maybe the series isn't just for me. But overall, it was a fun read. I liked the mystery. I just wasn't as impressed with the world and the characters as I wanted to be. And the focus on sexual content just was not my favorite. But yeah, and then the next book that I read was Alex Approximately by Jen. This book would fit into 2 of the spring fling categories. Online romance and beach themed, because it's I definitely would classify this as more of like a beach read than the online romance, but it does have elements of both. You follow these 2 characters who wind up starting an online friendship, and unbeknownst to her, the girl is going to move to the town where the boy is living and decides not to tell the boy that she's moving there, and they wind up meeting each other and developing a relationship, but not knowing that they actually have this deep relationship with each other. This book did not have dual POVs, and I think it made me like the book like a little bit less, because I really just wanted to learn more about the main male character, and I just needed to see his side of the story, especially in one part of the novel. I just wanted to know what was going through his head. But I love the quotes. Both of these characters, they met on like on a movie site, a movie fandom site. So every single chapter has a quote from a very, very popular movie that ties back to the chapter. Overall, I thought that was really, really cute, and I just wish that the relationship on lines stayed in the book a little bit longer, but I do understand why it had to like fizzle out. But overall, I gave it like 3.5 stars. I love the beach elements and I love the elements that Porter's character went through. I just wish that we would have seen those elements through his POV. So I gave it 3.5 stars. And the last book that I got for review this month was One True Pairing by Kat Yardley, and this is book 2 in the Fandom Hearts novel. I would classify this book as new adult. It does have a lot of sexy times in it, so that might be a note for younger viewers. But overall, I gave this book like 3.5 stars. It was a really, really short read, but it follows these two characters that meet under unexpected circumstances. The male character is the actor in a popular sci-fi series, and the girl works blackjack, and the the boy is in this VIP meeting and winds up getting attacked by some girls and has to run and hide in this girl's coffee shop, and they strike up a friendship, and they both kind of need something from the other one, so they strike up this like deal that he'll help her and she'll help him. And there's a failing bookstore that I just really, really fell in love with that storyline. I think I was definitely more invested in Jake's storyline, the male guy in the story. I just was more interested in like how he dealt with all the fandom pressure and life pressure. I did do a non-spoiler review on my blog, and then I also did a video review, so go check that out. But overall, I really, really liked it. I haven't read book 1 in the series. It's about video games, but maybe I will check it out. And then the last book that I read this month, I just finished yesterday, was The Big F by Maggie Ann Martin. This book does not come out till the end of August, but it's about this girl named Danielle, and I did talk about this in my contemporary mashup, so go talk about it over there, who whole first year of college is thrown off track when she fails English and has to go to a community college, and she's set down a path of self-discovery and romance. I really did like the self-discovery elements of this novel. I was not a big fan of the romance of it, especially the triangle that developed, but overall I really, really was rooting for the character of Danielle throughout this whole entire novel, and I really enjoyed it, so I recommend that you go check it out. I gave it 3.5 stars. Those are all the books that I read in July. Check back soon for my August TBR, where I show you what I'm going to read and listen to. I hope you guys will check it out. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.